range, and his his shotgun blast can be blocked by minions, things like that. You talk about like there's a lot of burst on Froggy versus the control mage and like the more poke and just kind of decisive diver coming out from Connie on the Vex in this game. And then bottom lane, it has its own kind of interactions and things to talk about. Who wins that matchup? Because I feel like this is one where GAM eventually don't feel great about the choices they make in their comp unless they get some movement from Levi in the beginning.
So it's sort of a if lanes play out with no jungler interaction, you've got a very strong mid lane victory for the side of GAM, I feel. Bot lane and top lane should lean towards SGB with a much stronger bot lane difference going down that way. But if everyone just AFK farms for 30 minutes and shows up with three items at 30 minutes, with 30 items as well, whatever, why not? But then yeah, team fight around 3 items at even. I think leans more towards the GAM, but the lane should be much stronger for Buffalo.
The call was made prior. I was a little worried about the call potentially if talking about lethality Zag, because it's not always something that pros like to go to, but there's a number of reasons to do it. First off, B having to flash on the bottom side after burning the Ignite on Shogun. I'm not sure if the call was just mixed there from Style and B, but clearly something was on the wrong page because both of them end up in very different places when it comes to that 2-on-2 fight. What I was about to mention, though, is that, again, you talked about how at the beginning of the game, levels 3 to 4, 5, before the level 6 comes through, really difficult for Shogun to avoid ganks from things like a combination of a Hecarim and a Rakan, but the lethality Zaya, when you go for more AD, when you go for the area for trading, and you go for Q maxing before anything else, gives you so much more attention on the wave that it allows you to not have to play that silly game that's actually being played by Style and B, attempting to control the wave to make sure that their Hecarim can gank properly. Is okay, down on the bottom side, no flash, no ignite, B goes down.
Yeah, a flash from Shogun did come out so it seems that might have flashed for a good pull on the feathers. But yeah, BJ makes the first move on the map, does a full red cycler into the bot side gank, whereas Levi, he's gone for the full clear. He's gonna encounter Taki in this jungle, but yeah, okay, so we find it's just a good engage, and then flash from Shogun to actually get the vision so he can keep auto attacking and look for a better pullback, but the flash actually comes through from Style as well.
Watch the W! The W! Oh, Kiaya!
Yeah!
Revenge from the previous game. Now he gets to be on a ranged champion, and he gets a little bit of fun into Hosmet as both summoners on both sides end up getting burnt in mid lane as well. Everybody wanting to scrap at least a little bit. Levi is going to come in. He's going to get the egg. Froggy times the E perfectly and sneaks through the horse auto attack. Levi must have just clicked through the tower right there.
This is a double kill angle from BJ. Double kill angle from BJ. No, too low to so good moves from Froggy to keep that alive, but it does deny the ability as Taki.
Oh, Taki finds one onto Levi. He's going to be able to get the first one. Now the reinforcements are all here. This is BJ, like you said, calling him as getting the double kill potentially. Unfortunately, not able to stop that up. B and Connie able to walk out relatively freely.
But from Taki.
From Taki. We get to see.
That's
a replay. Now that's a replay. Okay, we missed the important part of this replay. We really didn't need this part, unfortunately, but that's okay. Yeah, we kind of missed the important part of this duel.
I'm gonna assume more or less that smoke screen just very strong into that into an 80 carry. So that's good to see. We're gonna see this wave crash from Harsmed. Lots of support towards this top side. Gonna try and do his best, but nice easy cleanup. The rotation is in place from GAM, so they can't commit to a dive. And overall, it's still a fairly even game. A few kills on the board for the side of SGB, but you're seeing the gold sort of show up in places like the support. That's where the main goal difference is, if there is really any, because we're seeing the top lane build up. We're seeing this massive CS lead in the mid lane, as we sort of expected. It's actually only about 10 CS, but it's gonna get better. It's gonna get bigger. I feel in my bones as Froggy landing his Qs, doing his best, but he cannot really approach this wave, so has to really just farm on cooldown with that.
And would you look at that bottom side? The lethality side alongside the Taki Nautilus, bullying the bottom side of the map. Again, having all this control that we talked about on the bottom side, really powerful. Having champions with a lot of kind of innate damage with their kits, also incredibly powerful as we talk about what happens in the later stages. As the first dragon taken away by Saigon Buffalo, able to snag that one up, give themselves a bit of breathing room. Like you said, right now, about 2 full waves of advantage in the mid lane. You have the kill on top side as well. You got Levi, who's farming like a monster, but you're having these strike back. Saigon is still able to compete in a number of different avenues in a game like this.
Yeah, Beat just spending a little bit too much time lurking around the top side to defend Kiaya. It's Taki that makes his way back into the lane first and is able to punish Style on his own. There's no real escape from that. There's too much CC on the Nautilus, and especially combined with that Blade Call, no hope. So B is trying his best. He's trying to get around the map and link up with Levi and to get something done, but he kind of can't do anything. He's only level 3.
Oh, actually, both sides here feeling the effects of everything. Style with a great rocket tags Taki at the front of that fight. The glacial augment means that there's no aftershock, so very squishy Nautilus once the shield ends up going down, and because of that, I mean, Froggy did his best to try to find an alternate onto Levi. We were waiting to see if anything else was going to happen right there, but unfortunately it's not the case, as it's just a cross-map rocket. Nice kill from Style picked up here off the back of some tit for tat happening in the jungle between GAM and Saigon.
Yeah, B still just sitting at that disadvantage, and experience is an issue, but getting that kill back through the assist onto with the rocket to Style, yeah, that's exactly what they need. They need. I really want to see B, and I mean, it's too late now. Neither support is really gonna get it, but I personally I like to see supports leech a little bit more, especially in the 8 minutes, so they can try and rush that 6 before the Rift Herald, especially if they leech. If one support has their ultimate before the other one, it's absolutely game changing. You can completely demolish fights. We saw it a bunch pretty much at Worlds last year. That was won a lot of games, seeing players like Beryl and Mako just sit in mid lane for like the minute before the Herald spawn and just soak experience. That was good to see. But you know, it's 8 minutes now. Herald's up. Herald's alive. There's not even close to seeing something aside. Taki could find it before anything comes to fruition, but Garma just not in a position to respond, it seems.
The level advantage Taki has continued to level, because he was, before even the wave before on bottom side, Taki had this. They've got the same setup there, Rocky in game number 1. Taki had found a hook as a thresh onto a Nautilus in that game. Here he's going to find Levi, big burst coming out from Froggy. He's able to hit multiple members with it. BJ trying to find something. GAM end up with the first kill onto BJ, who's not able to get out of that one. It seemed like Saigon had everything they wanted to land. You just didn't have the damage for it to be able to finish things out. And now GAM, I mean, they get control of top river, they get the Rift Herald, they get the mid lane push, they kind of get everything, even though Saigon were the ones to really full engage that entire situation.
Yeah, and I think it's just the fact that Fear is a really strong CC and can completely disrupt your momentum, and you're looking at two main sources of it, with Carty and Levi just completely destroying, completely upsetting that. Plus, Styles able to contribute a little bit from across the map with a rocket. Shogun cannot do a thing except crash a wave and steal a plate. So, good pickup for GAM. They pretty much come away from that 100% on top. And now with Kiaya pretty much actually just smashing this top side, this is a very easy setup. Though that is not a Hecarim, that is a Vex without a Rift Herald. So, not going to be the conversion into lots of tower plates and gold onto this Graves.
Nothing like that quite yet. In fairness, I think Saigon's composition doesn't bode particularly well into Jinx when there's 4 champions that reasonably could be ripped apart by her just landing a handful of rockets through the majority of the team, and that's not counting like Nautilus. I guess I would count like half of Nautilus, half of Froggy, or in terms of their ability to survive. BJ up the top side to find something on the Kiaya. It's all about the Q. Flash gets burnt, so it's not going to end up meaning anything. And it is the trade of Flash for nothing. So Hosbed's not going to lose that one. Had to burn the Ghost at some point. As bottom side, here comes Levi.
Ghost and Ultimate from Levi seems to be the trade, but from Houseman rather. And yeah, no, there's the wave clear from Zyre is a bit too strong. There's too much CC threat to be dragged down to tower and make that aggressive push. So Levi can't really find the angle to attack this bot lane. Definitely not quite yet. They kind of need Buffalo to overextend and Shogun to put himself in a bad position, or just attack Froggy.
Froggy, pretty much immediately, he tanks basically the entirety of that Hecarim combo into the great setup that had actually come through from Cotty right there. No way, Froggy! Oh, he tried to make the great escape, but Style lands a massive rocket onto him the second of the game to be able to snipe away a kill from the side of Saigon Buffalo. And with that, it's all that's necessary for them to be able to push into the mid lane. They're probably not going to push all the way down. They do still have the Rift Herald in their back pocket, so like you had prophesized just a second ago, just a few minutes later than what you had thought it was going to be, still a big play to come through. Feathers have already been pulled to try to clear the wave. Shogun pressed the ultimate key. They actually find a number of members under the tower waiting for another feather pull, but that's not going to come up anytime soon. Unfortunately, that means that BJ is going to get gunned down by Style underneath of the mid tower. Could have been a massive play if that feather pull came back up.
Ignite picking it up for the side of B, and we're just going to see this push straight into the ultimate of Cardi. Pretty much stuck in CC for so long, but not quite enough damage to find the main kill. But this prediction, this shepherding from Levi, just pushing him into that corridor. There's pretty much nowhere left for him to go. That rocket is wide enough to take the whole thing. Yeah, great coordination. A good ability to completely deny what was going to be a good escape from Froggy.
And now, I mean, I will say there comes a point in the game where Froggy's side laning becomes better than most control mages. This has happened, I think, a number of times he's played Diana, where he's had the ability to go, I'm going to be down 30, 40 CS in the laning phase, but past 15 minutes, I'm going to be able to side lane better because I'm going to be able to burst you out. And all of a sudden, he's able to spike back up. So there is still room for growth here. And 1.5k gold advantage isn't huge. And the Dragons just got evened up, I believe, on both sides. Taki goes for a nice hook to come through. Shogun's able to put down a ton of feathers. He's gonna have to be able to get a nice pull, but so many members go down. At just the beginning of that fight, BJ had to get out, but Levi's still hot on his tail right now. BJ did deny a little further, just going to be able to get away from Saya. Nice kick coming out from BJ to deny the Hecarim any further access into the jungle. It looked like a promising fight. I really thought the feathers were going to make a difference. Cotty actually finding a nice angle on a Shogun as well. He's going to be able to find the few. The Q comes through. Electric Q puts so much damage into Shogun. The feathers are there, but he can't pull them and hit B. Oh my goodness, the number of times Shogun has had the feathers in the right position to make something massive happen. He just hasn't been able to pull the trigger.
Yeah, we see them clump up, they try and make the play, and it's plays out extremely differently because of this CC setup from the Rakan, able to get them all locked up in a nice group for the Rocket to knock them down. And we're seeing, we're sort of just seeing more or less what happened in Game 1 with Buffalo trying to make nice plays but getting countered. It's gone a little bit back and forth this game. This is a much closer and a very exciting one, rather than just everything falling apart for Buffalo, but things like that are just not working out. Now you have a 0-2 Diana in the mid lane. That feels a little bit bad. That's not really coming together at all. Your advantage in the bot lane that you had been slowly piecing together is just gone thanks to a couple of great across-map snipes. Pretty much 3 snipes. Pretty much all the kill Style has picked up has been thanks to these long-range rockets. Kind of just hanging out, pretending they're still playing Jin, staying as far away from the fight as possible. As we see now, BJ, they're losing control over this Herald pit, but if they can find an angle, if they can find a good flank, I'm very upset we never actually got to see the replay of that first Herald, because that was pretty much the point where GAM turned around and started running the show. But now, maybe they can find a collapse onto Froggy and BJ, but they blast Cone out. Now there is a bit of a pincer setup onto GAM, but neither side of this pincer can really take the brunt of Levi and B just running at them with all their CC.
Oh my goodness, actually quite a
Good
bit of
aim.
action right there.
Oh.
Hecarim finds himself in a wall, big ultimate from the Diana, but it doesn't matter. There's no damage to follow up any further. BJ with no Dragon Rage kick after everything else. It completely shuts things out. GAM once again find themselves clustered together, find themselves on the receiving end of good ultimates, but it doesn't matter because the damage isn't there from Saigon. The backup damage isn't there. Like you said, the pincer move seemed to be the option that they were working for, but unfortunately, it just doesn't work out. They get overloaded on the top side of the map, and they're going to lose top tower and Rift Herald in one fell swoop.
They're probably going to lose yeah, they do lose the mid lane as well, as Style just walks down and feels completely comfortable in the 1v1 up against Shogun. And yeah, it looked great. Like, it looked kind of like Levi had overextended, as we're going to see here. He gets knocked back wonderfully by Hasmed. But do you see this flash W from Cardi? This double fear, it saves everything. This just cleans up the fight. Those two are gone. There's no more solo laners, no more fight to be had for SGB. And they clean up the Rift Herald. They can drop that down into this bot lane if they want. If they find a huge play in the mid lane, they can crack open this mid lane turret if that's the angle. And they're just sort of... We're just sort of seeing Buffalo just trying to scrounge what farm they can, try and make a play as we see this overload into this bot side. Gonna try and see what they can do with this Diana ultimate. So it's just coming up.
Ooh, here comes Levi in an attempt to find something. Taki's able to hook himself out. The flash also gets him completely out of harm's way. Froggy's still here. They don't understand the Gale Force from Styles actually going to get him completely out of danger. And because of that, now Froggy is the one on the receiving end of the game. Style fights that one as Cuddy's chasing back Shogun, who's going to be forced out of the fight completely. Cuddy's going to be able to wrap around, and this BJ is in some real danger if he doesn't die to the rocket, which he does first. As Taki's underneath the tower, he is now completely under danger as well, and that's a triple kill for Style on the Jinx underneath this bottom tower. GAM playing to the win condition that's been getting them so many wins the majority of the season.
And with the Rift Herald to secure it, they're going to pick up this tower. They can probably very easily push this through to yet another one. And this is just a huge gold explosion. We're seeing GAM rocket ahead to that massive gold lead, as I forget how to count for a second. It's 7k, and they can fall back onto this dragon that is just spawning as well. It starts off nicely. Taki whiffing the hook completely lets Levi disrupt everything Buffalo was going for. They were trying to make a play, but they weren't quite ready for Levi, is my guess. And this tower dive, it's a very long one. It's played out very nicely, because look at how close the health bars were to going down. We'll hold that.
Now Froggy is actually going to be able to pull back one member. He tries to trade on the Kai. He's going to be able to get that one. Levi on the other side trying to find something into Shogun. Not going to be able to, as 1 for 1, actually 2 for 1, all things considered at the moment. Cuddy's going to be able to find another one as well. So it's 3 members of Saigon going down. I was going to say 4, but Shogun's ultimate proves me wrong for just a second there. So thankfully held my tongue until the last second on that one. This has been a game where Saigon has had, it feels like the agency was there towards the beginning, but they really just haven't been able to accelerate any of the lanes the way that we would have wanted them to. And because of that, it's just been so hard as Saigon has slowly trickled plays into the hands of GAM.
Very, very lacking in sort of this mid jungle pressure, and we saw a move from BJ at the start, gets down there, picks up first blood from B, and then from there, nothing. He doesn't show up again into pretty much any lane. And meanwhile, Levi's trying to make things happen. Cardi's moving his way around the map. The skirmishes in these sort of corridors in this jungle kept going the way of GAM, and yeah, it's just nothing sort of came together for Buffalo despite their best efforts. There's this Vayne slowly doing their best in the side lane, but it's much easier for them to kill her this time around. As yeah, they try and make a pick onto Kiaya, but Graves is a tanky fella. They get him eventually, but the damage is being done on the other side. Levi and B are able to cause so much disruption. Style, again, he's never really in the play at the start, but he can contribute from an early position with that rocket, and it's enough to just keep the fight rolling and keep the kills coming in for the side of GAM.
And it's a situation where it feels like Saigon are on like last legs to find a fight. GAM across the board has been doing fine. Kiaya at minimum is neutralizing Vayne to the best of his abilities in a side lane. That's the best case scenario for Saigon. Levi's just been running the map on this hacker the majority of the game. That is the first time I've actually seen the burst work out, but unfortunately they burn 2 massive ultimates to do it. And because of that, now B actually pulls the kill, but it doesn't matter all that much. Kadi is here, gonna be able to press the ultimate, gonna be able to find Froggy, I think, after enough time, unless he has it auto damage. He does not. Fight on the opposite side is going to lead to a little bit more action between these two teams. PJ trying to find Kiaya, and over the wall goes Hosman. He flashes on the Vayne, is going to be able to pick up a couple of kills. That is a massive play from Claudio. Put him right on top. Hosman's still going, though. Hasn't been able to deny anything. Finally, the kill comes over. The Vex able to put down Hosman before anything gets completely out of hand. As that is going to be a nice clean sweep from GAM. 5 members going down on the side of Saigon in exchange for just the 2. An outcome style from the base. The Baron buff is available. Maybe Shogun, maybe Froggy could try to get here in time, especially with the Hex Tech portals. I'm waiting to see whether that's actually going to lead to anything important right now, but it seems like the Baron is the full call from GAM.
Well, they've decided to leave. We saw them head that way, but just pushing towards these lanes, just taking this blue buff.
Here they come.
Not really going to contest. Oh, actually, they might contest now.
Okay, never mind.
But yeah, just a little bit late as Kati
actually back is. Oh, that's now Shogun. The ultimate's not going to land from Kati, so that's going to end up being just the 1 kill. It feels like if they beelined it there, maybe they could have accomplished something, but unfortunately, they didn't make that happen. This all started off with a pick into the mid lane. The double ultimate from Shogun and from Froggy. Again, the resources expended here at the beginning of the fight just led to such problems from the side of Saigon.
They unload, and it's actually just a nice cutoff from B. The ultimate from Cardi, pretty much 100 to 0. Shogun, of course, but B is able to cut them off, stop the retreat, and let them pick up this double kill. And the survival of Kiel gives enough time for Cardi to come back with his reset ultimate, fly in, get the huge fear, and they're able to just slowly take down everybody else. It's a huge pickup for Cardi, huge plays across the board. This Vex really pulling it all together, coming up huge for this team in this game, as now they have the Baron. Now they can try and break down more of these turrets. If they finish off these towers, get the gold into their pockets, as Kiara is pushing the mid lane, so they're going to siege put the focus on the inhibitors at the moment. A little bit slower this time. No hull breaker for Kiara to work with in terms of sieging, but it's enough to keep the pressure down, draw the attention and the ire of SGB to give Style the room to put his damage down. And they're just walking back and forth, not really given the option. Unfortunately, now the waves are completely desynced, so it's a little bit easier for Buffalo at this stage. So GAM just need to either look for and engage themselves, as it's actually B that's going to be caught out here. He does dash away.
Got to be really careful if you are effectively like anybody up against this Vayne because of the number of shots that you can put into it. But GAM, across the board, they've taken quite an advantage just in an individual level, which has been humongous for their success here on the day. That second game, not really indicative of what we've seen over the first, and now what is the third game from GAM, where they've just been in complete control of the majority of everything. Props especially to B in this one. B has been having perhaps some of the best MVP performances we've seen from supports all season, and in this one actually has 21 kill participation, or 20 kill participation, my apologies, on 21 kills that have come through for the team. So that is at least something to consider when thinking about what this team's success really has been. A lot of it has been off the back of this support in this bot lane that have been doing so well. They've been able to take in their third dragon. Now they're setting themselves up on Soul Point, especially Hextech Rift Soul Point. That's going to be a big one for the team fighting that can come through, which is exactly what Saigon are looking to do. So a bit of power in that regard, always helpful.
Yeah, only that solo kill that Kiai managed to grab onto Husman at the early stages of the game. Everything else, B has been an important part of his. Husman is deleted.
Hosped still alive. He gets a couple of auto attacks. It's a question of how much further is this team willing to go. Shogun actually drops the feathers. The ultimate's going to go down, and he's going to be brought down by specifically Levi. He's able to get another one right there. Bean J trying to find a little bit of something. Ki flashes right on top, and the rest of his team is behind. Diana able to find a solo up against the Vex deep within the jungle of GAM, but it doesn't matter to them. They've got the wave coming in. They've got more than enough members here. They should be able to at least take the inhibitor, if not just outright close the game.
I don't think they can quite close the game. Froggy is gonna be back, but okay, never mind. Kiaya is very angry at Taki for some reason. Okay, it doesn't matter. They aren't gonna. Oh my god, poor Froggy.
Oh my goodness, Style actually he is living to the namesake. Style gets inside of the base. Only Hosped left to wave. Yeah, ruining it slightly. Is his bottom laner. Style of all people you'd think would know not to ruin that one for the ADCs. That's the support. It's the one thing that they actually have outside of CS per minute, of course, which makes them the best in the league. But unfortunately, it looks like GAM has set themselves up to where they're going to be able to complete the game right here and right now. No more playing around, no more KDA. They're just going to finish the game as we speak. Towers going down. Multiple members from Saigon Buffalo might be back up to be able to defend it. They might have to walk away. They are going to lose Style in the midst of everything. It's a big shutdown. And the Hex Tech Rift is going to get him out of dodge. Make sure nobody else actually falls to the same victim that it would just actually occurred from their one teammate. Everybody give a nice salute to Style as he goes down in the midst of everything, so everyone else can escape.
All right, so open Nexus, Hackroom on the enemy team, but no teleport, so not quite gonna get quite the level of fun that certain LPL teams will give us, but I don't think it'll matter that much because that was pure hubris playing against GAM there. That is the only reason Buffalo were able to survive. Just GAM could have reset much earlier and just come back with a much better reset, much better vantage for taking fights. But they're still just pushing in this aggressively. Levi, he's in a spot where he can get pretty easily caught out, but he is also a hacker room who can pretty easily get out with his ultimate. So he's going to do his best. He's going to just keep this wave push, keep the pressure on while the rest of his team sort of sets up around this Baron, and he's going to mosey his way on over there. He just has to be there before BJ is really it.
Yeah, the rest of his team actually might kill it. No, they're not going to kill it quite yet. They've got a couple of ADCs to be able to work with here. They've got more than enough damage. They're going to be able to secure this one in the Baron buff, going into the pockets of GAM. Again, I always love to talk about this because it's a minute 37 till Dragon, which sets up their soul point, which could be humongous for the team. Again, against the team fighting squad like Saigon, they're going to be playing together to the best of their abilities because that's the one strength that they've got. But at this point, again, with the Hex Tech Drape on the board, with the Baron buff, they're going to be able to do quite a bit of irreparable damage to Saigon's base at minimum. And with that, that means that GAM is going to, at minimum, be able to take the Rift Herald or the soul point pretty much for free. Saigon looking to mount some kind of defense into the rest of the line. Goes Cotty, who's able to fight quite a bit. Dive into the back line from actually Levi. Gets thwarted a little bit. Hosman's still alive. Bean J still alive as well. But unfortunately, that is Shogun who goes down to the shotgun shells of the graves. And everybody just falls to complete pieces. As that is a huge play from Kiaya. A huge play from GAM. As they end up a 2-1 in the series.
Let's be honest. They're going to